Thursday, so that means it's free stamp class night. It used to be Facebook Live when I used to do it on Facebook, and then I called it YouTube Live, but it's live, but it's a free class, basically is what it is. I'm going to create three, not six, three projects for you guys tonight, and they're free. So you can watch me for free. I would appreciate very much if you would thumbs up the video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, right below the video, there should be a red subscribe box. Oh my gosh, hold on. We're listening to me talking to myself. There, now it's muted. I always like to have my iPad on so I can sort of, see the comments in real time. On my phone, it's like they pop up when you comment and then they go away. So I really don't get a chance to actually see them. So anyways, yeah, it's free stamp class night. So yay, I'm excited. I love doing this. I always get a little bit stressed out throughout the day because I usually take the day to create the projects that I'm going to do for you guys tonight. Creating things is something that it's not my strong suit, is what I'm trying to say. Other people, thrive with the design. I am not the best designer. And so it takes me a while to design the three projects that I make for you guys on Thursday nights. And so I hope you like what I have. I always end up liking them, even though I get a little bit stressed out about it. But what can you do, right? So as I said before, please like the video, thumbs it up, please subscribe, please ring the bell. And also, as we're going along, if you see any comments that are rude or disparaging or naughty content, whatever, please start spamming the chat so that I can notice it and that I can get rid of these people. I've been very lucky that the 3 lives that I've done on YouTube so far since I switched from Facebook, I haven't had any trolls. But there's always going to be that first time because it happens to everybody. And so please let me know so I can take care of it immediately, because I do not want any on my channel. I want it all to be fun and happiness and card making that's fun. And so, yay. Okay, I have to show you guys something. I like using a pop socket on my phone. And so I always have a pop socket on there. Well, I just got an email from Pop Sockets last week. And I just like to check it out, see what kind of new pop sockets they have, because I have the ones that you can remove. Check this out. Can you guys see that? Is it going to focus? It is a little like snow globe. I don't think it's focusing that great. And the snow actually is falling down. Is that cool or what? Let me tap it. I'll tap it on my desk a little bit so you can kind of see that it falls down. Isn't that just cool? And then as you know, and it rotates, of course, around. And so, as I'm rotating my phone, the snow keeps falling. So that is really cool. So it's actually a little bit thicker than a regular pop socket because, of course, it's got the fluid in there. So I had to take it off or because my phone won't fit in my holder with this extra large pop socket on there. But I'm pretty excited about that. It was only like, I don't know, $12 or $15. So anyways, there you go. Okay. My son has taken off with a couple of his friends down to the University of Wyoming for a little bit of a campus tour. So hopefully he'll be able to figure out something. The poor kid does not know what he wants to do when he gets old, which is later this month. He becomes an adult. So it's kind of time to start figuring that out. So hopefully heading down there with a couple of his friends will maybe, spur something in him to make a decision. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that he can figure something out. He's very mechanically inclined. He's very good at working with his hands. All of his friends, if they have something wrong with their vehicles, they bring it to him to fix it. And he's never gone to school for any of these things. It's just a skill that he just knows it. And they have him wire in their stereos and their fog lights and all this kind of stuff. And he literally has had no schooling in any of this stuff. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe he's going to end up being some kind of a fixer of sorts. So we'll see. Debbie, we actually do have a trade school. We have a place in Laramie where he's going right now, the same place that University of Wyoming is. It's called Wyotech. And it's a like diesel mechanics, welding, car fabrication type thing. And he has gone down there and taken a tour, and it is on his list of possibilities. He just can't decide, I think it's one of those scary things. And it happens to all of us, when you're a young person, you're getting ready to go off in the world all by yourself. Well, not by yourself, but you know what I'm saying. And you think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, Sherry said her husband. Hey, awesome. So what does he actually do now, Sherry? What is his field of expertise, since he actually did go there? I would love to be able to tell my son that. Um, what was I saying? It's a scary thing, because you think to yourself, oh my gosh, this is, and you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. But a lot of times you think, oh my gosh, do I want to be a welder for the rest of my life? Is what he's struggling with. Do I want to be fixing people's cars for the rest of my life? I think that's where he's struggling, because he can't fathom doing one thing for the rest of his life. So anyways, it is what it is, and he'll have to figure it out. So, okay, I am going to swap my camera from this fancy new little holder I got. I think I showed you guys last week. It's the coolest thing ever. Into my other tripod type thing that I use. Oh, whoops, I just covered up the screen. Oh, and there's Tana. Tana is Sherry's sister, right, Tana? You guys are so sweet. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera, maybe. Nope, I'm going to hit it again. I really struggle with getting the camera to do what I want. Okay, I need to see Diesel Mechanic School. Lived in Wyoming. Okay. All right, so let me get this thing leveled off, because I don't like it when the camera is wonky. That bothers me a lot. All right, so now I'm going to move my iPad so I can read your comments while we're actually live here. And put my tripod away. And oh my gosh, I'm having a hot flash. Why do I always have a hot flash when I'm going live? Oh, I'm taking my jacket off. Okay. And I'm going to pull my hair back, because it always hangs in my face because I'm trying to grow it out. And now I'm ready. Okay. So as you guys probably know, we have a new collection of products out called the Eden's Garden. And it is amazing. And the paper is so flippin' beautiful. It's this gorgeous evening evergreen and soft succulent with these gorgeous gold accents. And so I think the paper is kind of the big seller of this entire collection. We're going to use the dies and the stamps here in one of our projects. So I'll talk a little bit about those at that time. But I did want to show you all the different patterns of the paper. We do have these gorgeous garden gems. So we have this fun little, I think today we're going to use them and make like a little flower. So we're going to use them as petals, and this is going to be our flower center on the card that I'm going to make. And then I wanted to let you guys know, in case you didn't know, the cotton paper is really cool. You can use it, you can pleat it back and forth. It pleats really nicely, and you can have that be underneath like a layer, like underneath a sentiment strip or something like that. But what I did here really quickly, and you can tell this card is the most basic card in the world. I used it to make some fun flowers. So in order to punch out these flowers, now die cutting is totally different, but if you're using a handheld punch, you're going to need to, the paper, even with 2 layers, like I have it folded in half, it still isn't thick enough for the punch to really get through easily and nicely. So I just folded it up and then stuck a piece of copy paper in there. And then I did have good luck punching those out. So as you can see, I did make some fun flowers, the super simplest card. I used a designer series paper with my leaves. Totally cool. I do have a couple other samples, and I do have a video here on YouTube that kind of goes through the entire collection. It gives you an idea of some coordinating products that you may already have that would go great with this collection of stuff. And yeah, so here's another card I got in a swap. Here's the card that I made for the swap. Lots of fun. I'm reading Sherry's comments about people. She's met people from all over the United States that have gone to Wyotech. Oh, wow. That's really good to know, Sherry. I'm going to let him know that those companies come to Wyotech looking for mechanics. That's a good thing for him to hear. Okay, here's another one that uses that fun little, I call it a berry die, because to me it looks like berries. I don't know what else you'd call it. And then here's one that I made where I did Christmas trees. So this is the actual cotton paper. So it's a little bit lighter than the evening evergreen. So I get like 3 different colors there, which is really nice. So yeah. And then here's a card. I had a customer stop by here a couple weeks ago, and she had a card with this layout. And I was just fascinated by it. And so I took a picture of the card that she was showing me, and I came up with that. So that's kind of fun. And then here is a card that I do have a standalone video on. It's actually my kickoff for my online class that is actually here on YouTube. So there you go. All right, so that's enough about the Ever Eden or Eden's Garden collection. Let me move this out of the way. And I need to scroll back through some of these comments to see. Okay, Tan share your sisters. I thought so. And Mert is with us. I love your name, Mert. I just love that. Mert apparently was given her name. It's a nickname from her husband, which I think is so cute. Okay. Oh my gosh, we have Barbara on here. She said she just discovered me last week. And Barbara, you have a fantastic name. I just want to throw that out there. Okay. So some of you may already know this, and a lot of you are probably demonstrators, and so it doesn't matter to you. But Stampin' Up! Is coming out with a promotion that starts today. And you can join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator for $75 plus tax if you have tax in your area. Like if you're in Montana, you don't have to pay tax because there's no sales tax up there. But so there's no shipping, and you can get $125 worth of product when you sign up to be a demonstrator, and you only pay $75 for it. That is crazy inexpensive. If any of you guys are not a demonstrator and you are watching me right now and you obviously are a stamper, this is a deal. You honestly just can't pass it up. There are no strings attached to becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You don't have to sell anything to anybody else. You can just buy for yourself. You don't even have to buy anything yourself. You can just sign up. And then if you decide that it's not for you and you don't want to buy anything, then you just are simply dropped. There's no penalties. You keep everything you got in your kit. So it's like a no-brainer, you guys. If you're not already a demonstrator and you're buying Stampin' Up! Products, you need to be a demonstrator. Because right here you're saving $50, $62.50 actually, because there's no shipping. And a shipping on a $125 order would be $12.50. So you're actually saving $62.50 by joining as a demonstrator right now. And you have till the end of the month to do that. I have a link in the description of this video that will take you right to my sign up. So you can join my team right now. We are getting ready for our team Christmas party next month, which is going to be so much fun. We're going to have an ugly sweater contest. We're going to have a dollar store hack. We're going to do some bingo for some prizes out of the new catalog, by the way. I think we're going to have a swap. Are we swapping? We usually we swap every month, so I'm sure that we're going to. Just a lot of fun things, a recipe share, just kind of fun stuff like that. So I would love to have you guys join my team. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. I am happy to answer them. And yeah, there you go. Okay. Next up is my Elegantly Said class to go for the month of November. It uses the Elegantly Said bundle, and it also includes the designer series paper, the little gold and silver trim, black matte dots, silver and epoxy essentials, I think they're called, and gold and copper foil. Comes in your kit, not full of any of these. It's all partials. And then if you want to add the bundle, the stamp set, and the punch, you can do that for a total of $93.50. All the links are in the description of this video, and it's going to be an amazing class because this paper, let me just show you if I can find it here. Look how pretty this stuff is. This is copper, silver, and gold accents on this paper. So gorgeous. Gold and silver. And then the back sides don't have any foiling on them at all. They're just very beautiful. So here's a not foiled side, foil side, foil side, not foil side. This one is, of course, it's everyone's favorite. This is so pretty. These gorgeous copper flowers with the silver leaves and the little gold centers. Oh my gosh. So, and this class is going to be all fun folds, but they're all simple fun folds. So they will not be difficult at all. You will make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 designs. And you're not going to want to miss it. So you can sign up for it now. It'll be ready to go like around the 19th of the month. And then there you go. What DSP is this? This is it's called, I can never remember the names of these things. Hold on, Dolly, I'll tell you. It's called the Simply Elegant Specialty Designer Series Paper. It's in the big catalog. And we're going to actually use this bundle, so I'll show you the stamp set and the punch, and we'll talk a little bit more about it then. All right. Of course, we have a class, online class for the Eden's Garden collection, because why wouldn't we? It's a new collection, and the cards are going to be gorgeous. So you're going to want to make sure you get in on that. The whole shebang is the collection of products, which is the paper, the cotton paper, the stamp set, the die set, the gems, and some ribbon. I think there's something else. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, all that's included in the whole shebang for $116, or you can just get the cardstock supply kit for $45, online only $20. I still have, I think, 3 artistically inked, and I do have some extra card kits that go along with this. It's a special card that I made a couple weeks ago on a YouTube Live that you'll get an extra bonus if you do purchase it from me before Saturday. Actually, I don't think I have any more of those. This, I think I have 4 of this really cute set. It's Christmassy, but not Christmassy. So we've got a baby card in there, and then we've got a few more cards. So it's a lot of fun. Everything, all these links are in the description of this video. The Peaceful Deer, if you have that, this is a great class for Christmas, and you could turn it into some kind of manly cards, because we do give you some of that designer series paper that was with Celebration back a little bit ago. The Christmas season, I have a few of these. And then, of course, I always have adhesive kits. If anybody's interested in an adhesive kit, they come in these cute little pouches, various colors. I think I have yellow, green, red, blue, purple, and black. And you get 4 different adhesives, a seal, glue dots, dimensionals. Well, you get 5. The tear and tape and the liquid glue. You get a sand eraser for your ink mistakes, an adhesive eraser for your adhesive mistakes, and then a ruler. 6-inch ruler, which is a really handy size to have, to just sets here on your desk. And then it all comes in this adorable little zippered pouch. Okay. And as always, Stamp Happy Academy, a lot of you guys on here are Stamp Happy Academy members. That is also a perk of joining my team. I should mention that. All the demonstrators on my team, once they have placed their first order as a demonstrator, can get the basic Stamp Happy Academy membership for free. So that is a huge perk. We have about 42 classes on our website so far that all basic members have access to. Our premium members have access to all those classes, plus 3 live classes every month, which if you are a Stamp Happy Academy premium or live member, I will be live tomorrow morning on Stamp Happy Academy for our first November live. And or you can just do the live only. So, and that's like a class kind of like this, but better, because we normally focus on layouts rather than just random stuff. Okay, so while I get my stuff, I'm going to share with you the cards I made last week. Those are the cards I did last week. I think we will start with this. This is kind of a technique-y card, which is fun. Let me move these out of the way. Those were last week's cards. So we are going to be using a Sentiment from the Positive Thoughts stamp set. This is one that it came out during Celebration about 1.5 to 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. And it has a coordinating set of dies. And we're going to use a sentiment out of this one. We are also going to bring in our Mountain Air bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies. And I have to confess, this is a stamp set that I have had for quite a while. And I've honestly made, I think, 1 card with it. I actually did a technique card. Let me grab that and show you, because I have to tell you, it was a pretty awesome card, if I do say so myself. Or it actually wasn't a card. It was our technique instruction card that I used. Where the heck is it? Don't tell me I don't have one. Oh, here we go. So the technique was, what was it called? Water stamping. And so here was the card. And then this was the technique that went along with that. So isn't that cool? So that was the, the Majestic, Mountain Air bundle. So we're going to use that today, and we're going to make a really cool card. We're also going to use the layering circle framelets. Actually, that's not what they're called anymore. They're called the layering circle dies, but mine are really old, so they have framelets on them. And we're using the largest straight circle. I say straight because it's not a scallop, okay? We've got a scrap paper here. We need to get some of these things out of the way so we can make some room. Okay, I got my papers here and everything. We are using some blending brushes. Here are the stamps. And now you'll notice that my stamps, I put them on blocks that they are too big for. But it doesn't matter because we're only really using the center of this stamp. So we don't even need to worry about the edges of that. But I do need to find a block for this. Where is a block for this? Why is it always, I have so many blocks around here, but yet I can't always find them when I need them. Okay. So I've got some ink. I've got Balmy Blue and Highland Heather, Memento Black, my Sentiment, and some Wink of Stella. Now this is a super simple card. You guys are just going to not believe how easy this is, but it's a wow. Okay, so what I have done is I have taken a piece of copy paper, and it measures, I can't remember, hold on, get a ruler. It measures 3 3/4 by 5. I thought that's what it was, but then I thought, well, what if I'm wrong? I also have a piece of basic white that is the same, 3 3/4 by 5. So I die cut a hole, that large die through this, and I centered it from side to side, and then it's a little bit more showing at the top than it is on the two sides. So you can do whatever you want, but that's what it, because I needed enough room for my sentiment down here. So what I like to do when I'm doing this type of technique is I like my copy paper to be exactly the same size as my white layer, or whatever color I'm doing this on, because I find, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit of adhesive on here, but I'm going to use my finger to kind of take some of the sticky away so it'll come off this. Because if I don't, and I have this on a bigger piece of paper, when I lay it over the top of this, it's going to be hard to kind of line it up, and I don't want it to be like really off. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be centered. So I'm going to my little piece of cardstock. Whoops, did I take too much of the sticky off? No. So I'm going to line this up so it covers my cardstock layer. And then I'm going to take a bit of Scotch tape and I'm going to attach it to my scrap paper here. Okay. So then I'm going to start with my Highland Heather. Oh, Bonnie's on here and she has shared my video. Thank you so much. And I'm going to get a little bit of ink on my brush. And then what I like to do, I need a, oops, that just made a big mess. I take some of the excess ink and I just put it on this block. So you can kind of see that there's a little ink there. That way, it's not that ink is expensive and I don't want to waste it, but it's less wear and tear on my pad. The less times I have to rub my brush on my pad, the less wear and tear I feel I'm doing to my pad. So if I can put some ink on this block and come back and use that a lot, then I'll be dipping this into my pad less. Okay, so now what I want to do is I've gotten some of the ink off of this, is I'm going to come into my circle and just start adding my ink. And I like to do it in a circular motion. Okay. And obviously where you start is going to be darker. And that's kind of what you want. You want the top to be darker and then you want it to like get less inky, you know, less inky as you go down. Okay, so now I have pretty much gotten all the ink off my block. And we're going to dip that in again and get some of that ink off again. And we're going to try to darken up the top here a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to come down a little, about halfway, maybe a tiny bit more. Okay. So that's what we have so far. And actually, I'm going to see if I can just make it just a bit darker right up here at the top. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in my Balmy Blue and a different blending brush. And I'm going to clean off this block. If I had another block handy, then I wouldn't need to clean that off, but I don't. So I just took a baby wipe and wiped that off, and I'm going to rub that onto my hand to dry it off real quick. Okay, let's see. Is anybody asking any questions? Good tip. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to dip our brush, kind of blend it on there, and we're going to get some ink, and we're going to rub some of it off. And then I'm going to start down here at the bottom. I want it to be the darkest at the bottom down here. So I'm just kind of rubbing it back and forth. I'm going to come back here and pick up the rest of that ink and really get that bottom dark. And then I'm going to start to come up. So I'm actually going to meet my purple. And we're going to kind of blend those things together. come back down here, start at the bottom so where it's dark, and then come up and kind of blend them together. Okay, and you do this until it looks good to you. There's no right or wrong. Of course, be careful. You don't want to have your paper. I could have taped the whole thing, but you know, that's just that much more work. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that. I think that looks pretty good. But before I put away all this, I do want to get another little scratch paper here. I'm going to move this off to the side just a second. And this is going to be my inside, excuse me, my inside layer. And so I want to add some of these colors to the bottom here. So I'm going to start with my blue. And just because I know what I'm going to put on the inside here, I'm kind of putting it along the bottom and then up on the side just a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then I'm just going to flip this block over and dip into the purple just a tiny bit. And then I'm just going to come in here and just add a little bit of the purple. Not a ton. Just a little bit. Okay, so that's going to be my inside layer. So I'm going to set that aside. Now I can go ahead and close these ink pads up. Now I do not clean my brushes. I have, when we first got these, as demonstrators, we were limited to purchase one package. I think that was during a pre-order or something like that. And so we only had 3. And so during that period of time, I did rinse them under the sink. I did rinse them off so that I could maybe use them in a different color. Like I would rinse this off and maybe use it in green or something like that. But I don't really recommend it because it's kind of a pain and the bristles are so dense that it does take a while for them to dry and you can't really ever get all the ink out of it. It's just the nature of the brush. So you can do it in a pinch if you absolutely have to, but I don't really recommend doing it just because it's a pain. Okay, so let's put these away. And now we're going to bring back this fun layer here and we're going to bring our stamps in. So I've got the tree image. I should mention about this stamp set. This is one of those, what do they call it? Does it say on here? I can't think of the proper term, but these stamps are set up so that the detailed image is on one side of this piece of photopolymer and then the back of this piece is flat and blank. So you have like a detailed image and a bold image. Same with these mountains. You have the detailed image here, and then if you flip it upside down and stick it back on your block, it's like the bold opposite of that. Okay? And the same with the tree, this tree, the clouds, the moon, and then the birds. Okay? And now that I'm thinking about it, where are my birds? Are they in here? Oh, I don't need them for this part. I'm thinking of something I'm doing tomorrow. Losing my mind. Okay, so now I'm going to ink up this row of trees with my Memento. Okay. And I am going to bring in a foam pad because earlier when I was practicing, I needed a foam pad. But I want to see, this is a new pad, and I want to see just how dark that is. It's pretty dark. I'm actually going to pull in a pad that's not quite as new, just because I don't want it to be so bold, I guess the term is. Okay, so I'm going to kind of set this across the center, but not completely across the center. Like it's a little bit low, is what I'm saying. Okay, so there we have that. And now we're going to bring in the mountains. And this is the same. This is the detailed mountains. This isn't the flip side where it's bold. And I'm going to ink this up in the same color, the black. Okay, but this one I'm going to stamp off once because I don't want it to be as dark. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of stamp these behind the trees. Okay. So that way it kind of looks like the trees are in the foreground here and then the mountains are behind. Like you're driving down the road and like, oh my God, what a beautiful scene. Yes, it totally is. Okay, so we're done with this. So we can pull the tape off, or the little layer here off. Get that. And then because we didn't have too much tape on or too much adhesive, we can kind of wiggle that off a little bit. And we can get rid of that. And we can get rid of this foam pad. I think we can get rid of that. Oh, no, we're going to need this again. Hold on. for the inside. So I have these trees. This is the duo tree. And so I'm going to stamp them on the inside of the card here. And each time I stamp it, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit until the third time where it's pretty low. Okay, so that's going to be the inside of the card. Where's my lid? Oh, it's right here. Okay. I know, these are fun. Oh, triangles. I didn't even think about that. That'd be really cool. All right, sentiment. We need a sentiment now. So we're going to ink that up. And then I'm going to, oops, actually, before I do that, I'm going to trim this down. I need to trim this down to 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, which is good because it looks like I got a tiny bit of ink on the side there. So I told you it was 3 3/4, which it is. So I'm going to take a 1/16 of an inch off each one of these sides so that it becomes 3 5/8. Wait a minute, what did I do? It was 3 3/4. I need to come a little bit more in, don't I? Because that is, well, that's 5/8. Good Lord, I can't even read a ruler. Rulers are hard. It's like math. Math is hard. I think Dina or somebody always says, I'm too pretty to do math. I don't really feel like that's true for myself, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit off the top. Now, this trimmer doesn't have, it's not long enough to get the proper length. Whoops, what am I doing with this? Oh, I'm trimming it to 3 1/2. Good grief. I'm losing my mind, you guys. Surprise, Barb's losing it. Okay, 3 1/2 is what we're doing here. So where's the half? 3 1/2. I guess I could have used my other. I'm trying to make this even, so I am sliding it back and forth while I get this all figured out. Okay, so now it's 3 1/2, and then the other side's going to be 4 3/4, which I'm just going to kind of lay it on here and figure out how much I need to cut off. And then I'm just going to come back in here, trim it, just because my other paper trimmer is not handy at the moment. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, yes. So I made it bigger on purpose just because I feel like it's easier to work with if it's a little bit bigger. And so now we're trimming it down. And that way, you know, if I didn't have my circle right in the middle, I could, you know, if I have to take a little bit more off this side, I could, or a little bit more off this side to get it kind of centered, then that made that a little bit easier for me. Okay, sentiment, stamping, commencing now. All right, we're going to try to center it. I can't remember if I set this on here good or bad. So let me do a tester here and see. Okay, I need to bring it down just a hair. Okay. Scoot it over. There. Yay. Okay. Now we can just adhere it together. And like I said, it's a super simple card. I mean, it feels like it's taken forever because we've done a lot of chatting and the blending and the cutting and whatever else we've done. But it actually is a very simple card. It's going to be completely flat. So you could mail these out without having to worry about your post office being annoyed. Look at that. It was a scrap. Something I worked on a while back and didn't like it. Well, not that I didn't like this, but I did this to do something else and I didn't like something else. So I saved that in my bin of stuff, my scrap bin, I guess you could say, and pulled it out today because this is perfect because no one's going to see it. And we're going to add this to the front, and it's beautiful. And whoever gets this is going to love it. And now we're going to add this layer. And a lot of you guys are new to my channel, and so I'm going to show you a little tip that I use when I'm putting layers inside of cards. Now I'm a right-handed person, so I flip my card basically the opposite direction because I can come in with my right hand and I want to be able to see all this, and now my hand isn't going to be in the way. So what I like to do with my inside layers is I only line up 3 sides. And so I line up, so I have equal distance from the layer to the edge here, the layer to the edge here, and the layer to the edge there. And it doesn't make any difference if from here to here is lined up or not, because you can't tell if that's off. So it's just a little trick to have things come in evenly. At least they'll look like they're even if they're not. Oops, I just about stuck my hand in this other memento. Okay, so there is card number 1. So pretty yet so stinking simple. Okay, let me get some of these things off of the table, and we will bring in the supplies for our next card. Okay, I need to clean that off. That was my block that had blue and purple ink on it. Okay. All right, card number 2. We're going to use the Eden's Garden collection of stuff. And I have to clean up my mess because I cannot stand a messy workspace when I'm live. When I'm creating something, I'm like everybody else, and I end up with a little tiny space about this big. There you go. Oh, Francie, yeah, I know what you're saying. And you definitely have to turn it. But that's if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you would probably want to just open it up and slide it in. But I find that because I'm right-handed, if I try to slide it in, my hand is in the way and I can't see as well. So, but you know what? It's a handmade card, and that's what makes them so special. No two are the same. I mean, as hard as we try to like make something the same multiple times, we all know it's not exactly the same. Okay, so we are going to be using these gorgeous gems. We're going to be using some of the dies out of this collection. We've got various pieces of paper and various die cuts. And I need that. And then here is the stamp set. It is one of our distinctive stamp sets. As you can tell, this image here, look, the way they make it in the rubber, it appears that it has multiple, what am I trying to say, like shades, or somebody's got the proper word for me. Bleh, it's not coming to me. Different tones, different shades, different something. I don't know. Oh, Antoinette wants to know where I got my awesome pop socket. I got it at popsockets.com. That's where I got it. Popsockets.com has the best pop sockets. They have about, I don't even know, 10 or 15 different, well, I call them snow globes. They call them something else. They have some really cute ones. They have a snowman. They have like a cityscape. They have, oh, I can't even remember, just some multiple colors. I mean, just really fun. Okay, so what was I doing? Distinctive stamp. I don't know what it's called. Dimension, Kathy says. That sounds like a good word. Dimension. Yes. Oh, I see Tammy on here. Tammy, I have one of the Little Delights classes left. So if you do want it, let me know. Okay. And I can save it for you and we can work out the details. Okay. So that's what we're going to use. Here are the dies. These are called the Eden's dies. And I have taken each one of the dies and cropped it so that we can show what these are. So this is the border die. Let's put it on something else. And so it has this fun stitching edge on here, which is amazing. And, oh, Violet wants to know a pop socket for what? I put it on the back of my phone, Violet. So, and I can't really show you how it works right now because it's closed, but it pops open. And then I can slide my fingers around it so I can hold my phone with just 2 fingers. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, sorry, Tammy. I probably haven't checked my email for a while as I was working on this. Perfect. Okay. The detailed edge. So it's got the stitching, and then this is the fun detail. So I like to call it a border die. I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's what I'm going to call it, a border die. Then there's this really big kind of foliage type thing. And while I don't really have any swaps where they've used the entire thing, you absolutely can. I think it would look beautiful. I think Dina did a card a couple days ago that was beautiful. But what I've seen people do is just cut the whole thing out and then just like take snippets of it and like tuck it behind other things, like a label with your sentiment on it, or, you know, a label with this gorgeous flower stamped on it or something like that. So that's what I've seen mostly done with it. We have this cute label that we're using today. So that's fun. We have this little, this is what I'm calling the berry frame. I don't know what it's really called. This is probably some kind of foliage, but I have a brown thumb, so I have no idea what that means. So I call it the berry die. So there you go with the berry die. And then this little thing I think has been my most used in addition to the border die. This little sprig here. I just love this thing. I think it's adorable. So those are the dies. Okay, so card. Oh, now I'm gonna have to get my paper trimmer. Hold, please. Okay, so we are going to do some scoring on this. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. I need that. So we're going to slide it into the trimmer, and we're going to slide it into 2 3/4 inches. And we're going to score it. And then we're going to slide it over to 4 1/8. score. Then we're going to turn it around and we're going to slide it in again to 2 3/4. And then once again over to 4 1/8. Okay, so now we're going to have a kind of a fun fold card. So we have this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the innermost score line, I guess, up. And when I fold that up, I want to make sure that the sides are even here and here. Because sometimes I've noticed, like when I score, and if I just fold it, sometimes they don't line up. And that can like make your card look a little wonky or something. And then we're going to fold this piece back. And this one I do need to scooch over just a hair. And then we're going to do this side here. I don't know what this is called, but it's some kind of a fun fold, which is kind of cool. And it can stand up on a desk or a table or what have you. But I just think it's just kind of an interesting card. Okay, so then the next thing I have is all these die cuts. Oh, that you're not supposed to see, but you've seen it now, so it doesn't matter. I have 2 pieces of evening evergreen, and these measure, let me look at my cheat sheet here. The evergreens measure 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And of course, I use a scrap because I am all about using scraps, but when I put this on top of it, you're not going to know that there's a scrap there. Okay. So I'm going to add some adhesive to these pieces of designer series paper. A little bit. Put that up there, and I'm going to do this piece too. And this is some of that gorgeous, what is it, Ever Eden designer series paper with the gold accents. So these are 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. This is 2 1/2 by 4. So we're just going to have a very slight border with the evening evergreen. Probably even slighter than that. Hold on. Get back up here, you. Sometimes when you have seal, it doesn't like completely stick immediately. So you have a little bit of time to stick it down. There we go. Okay, and now we need to get this one on also, covering up that little hole. There we go. And the hole, you guys, was made because I had to punch a 1-inch circle out of something to get it on my DSP sheet. So that's where that hole came from. Okay. Oops, I got some adhesive. Oh, that's because I have some in the hole. Okay, so I'm going to pull this across and we're going to add these to the 2 side pieces. All right, am I missing anything? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, and it looks like you guys are helping people out, so that is another wonderful thing. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I am a one-woman show. I don't have any assistants or helpers. I do everything by myself. So sometimes I wonder if I should get a helper, but I don't know. It works. It works being a one-woman show. Okay, there we go. So we've got our 2 outside pieces done. There we go. So you'll see that I have these 2 border strips, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this or not, but I kind of was thinking, what if I actually like glued that to right here? That kind of jazz that up a little bit, don't you think? To have some fun on this part here. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I am going, whoops, I guess I better kind of chop it first a little bit so I don't get glue all over literally everything. So I'm going to chop that there. I'll leave a tiny bit of excess just so when I stick it on there, if I don't get it on there perfectly, it'll still look okay. And I've got another one here. Yeah, this is one of those cards where I didn't actually complete the whole thing before I went live. So as you guys know, I don't always do that. And then sometimes we have to talk about what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm adding some glue to these detailed pieces here. And I could have used adhesive sheets, and I probably should have, but I never think about it. I need to stick them out by my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is what I need to do, because then I would probably remember to use them. Okay, that I think is going to be a nice blob. So we're going to tap that off with our finger, and then we're going to add this to the front. And I find if I get glue that leaks through, if I go ahead and catch it right away, like with the palm of my hand or my finger, then I don't end up with glue, you know, a sticky spot there, because I don't like that. Okay, so we've got one on. Now we're going to do the second one. Do the same thing. I'm just going to add some glue down to at the bottom here where all this foliage is. And then I'm going to come back in here and add a skinny bead of glue there. Okay. We're going to set that on. Oh, Barb. I was pushing it and I pushed it completely off. We should be okay. I think I got it back on the same spot, so we're just going to press hard. Ugh. Okay, so there's what we have so far of our fun fold, and I'm going to trim off those bits, obviously. I'm going to come from the back here and snip off all of that. We have somebody, Kathy, is watching us from Minnesota. Awesome. How many people are watching? 128. Wow, for me, that is a lot of people. Thank you guys so much. It's all because of you. It's all because of you guys watching and sharing and commenting and giving me thumbs up that I have 128 people watching me right now. That doesn't happen just for me. It happens because of you guys. So thank you so much for that. Okay, that's what we've got so far. Then, do these pieces go together? I think that they do. So this piece is again 2 5/8 by 4 1/8, exactly the same as these evergreens. So there's 3 of those that are the same size. And then this last one is a 2.5 by 4. And so as you can see, this is what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to show you a little thing that I like to do with these decorative stamps. I need a scratch paper and I need the big stamp. And I need some ink. So I've got my soft succulent and the evening evergreen, and I also have a sponge dauber. So I'm going to ink up this flower. I think I said it's a flower. It's probably not really a flower, but I don't know. For lack of a better word, it's a flower to me. We're going to ink that up. And then I'm going to bring in my evening evergreen ink pad. And I'm going to dip my sponge dauber in there. And I'm going to kind of come in here and just add some dark to the center and maybe just slightly around the edges. And this isn't going to be super noticeable. I'm going to huff on it. And we're going to stamp this kind of at the top. Oh, Tony says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks, Tony. And then I'm going to ink this up again. And I'm going to do this again. And add some. So it doesn't do a whole lot. But I think if I didn't do it, maybe I'll stamp one and I'll show you what it would look like if I didn't do it. Okay, so we need to get that one stamped also. Okay, so here it is stamped with the other ink in it. Let me grab a piece of white and we'll do it without. Well, here's a little scrap here. Let me clean this off so we don't have any evening evergreen on it. Spank it a little bit. Whoops, there's some ink on the side there. Okay, now we'll ink it up again and we'll just stamp it. And actually, I think you can tell a difference. So here's the soft succulent by itself, and then here's the soft succulent with a little bit of evening evergreen kind of sporadically thrown in there a little bit. So there is a difference, maybe not a ton of difference, but a little bit. And I just think it adds even more dimension to the stamp that already has a lot of dimension on it. Okay. All right. So let's put these, well, I need the ink later. So let's just put them off to the side so I don't touch them with my hands like I want to do. This is what I want to do, but that I do. If they're sitting here, then there you go. Okay. Bring this piece in, and this is going to layer on here again, the same very skinny border. Just a tiny bit, like a 1/16 of an inch is what this is going to be. And then this is going to go to this center panel here. Okay. And I'm going to pull it open, and then I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to kind of finagle it a little bit so that it's in the middle. There we go. I can press that down. And we have a little piece on the back here. So this is like the front of the card. And then the back is where you would put your message. So we have another 2 5/8 by 4 1/8 inch layer that we'll put our message on, but we can do a little stamping on it before we actually do that. Okay, so for our sentiment, we have a 1/2 inch strip of white. And then I have a sentiment that comes out of the stamp set that says, "My heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything." So it'd be a fabulous sympathy card. So let's go ahead and ink this up and try to somewhat center this. Come on, you work for me, please. Wow, that's, I believe, a little bit, is that crooked or is that just my eyes playing tricks on me? Does that look crooked to you guys? I wonder if my paper's not completely straight. Hold on, we're gonna get another strip. Oh, here's a strip. And we're gonna bring in this little trimmer here, and I'm gonna see if I can cut this to a 1/2. Okay, I got a tiny sliver off of this piece. So let me try that one more time. Is it just my eyeballs, or is the paper actually crooked? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It could be either. I think this paper looks like it's cut wrong. So this one, I think we're going to go with. Okay, so then we're going to end up putting this piece of white on this layer here. So we need to measure that. What is it? So I'm just kind of measuring the distance between, like, from here to there. And that is about 2 7/8. So how much of this do we need to cut off? A little bit. I guess what I should have done was cut this to 2 7/8 and then stamp it in the middle. That would have been way easier than the way I'm doing it. So don't do it like this. Don't do as I do, do as I say, because that is not going to work. Okay, we need to cut off a little bit more because it's not quite 2 7/8. One more time. So yeah, I highly suggest cutting it to 2 7/8 by a 1/2 inch, and then it will be perfect. Okay, so we are going to attach, I did cut one out of gold also. So I have a label out of the Evening Evergreen and a label out of gold. And so they are exactly the same, but I'm going to flip them. Okay, so I'm going to put them together so that I have a little bit of gold showing at the top up there. Okay. So that means I'm just going to add some glue to the top back of this layer. And then I'm going to put these together with that tiny bit of gold foil showing at the top there. Okay. Now, if you want to have gold showing at the bottom, you just need to cut yourself a 1/4 inch by 2 5/8 inch piece of gold foil. And then you can add some more glue. And I'm using liquid glue just because I think it's going to work a little bit better for me in this particular situation. And I am just going to attach this there. And then my sentiment, ugh, can't pick it up. I don't have any fingernails. I am going to put right in the middle. Okay, then since that's in the middle, I'm going to lay it across the center of this. So we're just going to put a little glue. I'm going to kind of cattywampus it, cockeye it, whatever, diagonal, whatever you want to call it. And it's fine that it hangs off the edge because the card still is this, now it folds up to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card that fits in a regular sized envelope. So there's nothing fancy about the size of this. It's the perfect size. And then we can flip it over and we can add our piece where we're going to be able to write our little message. So I thought that we could take some of these. There's a bunch of little foliage pieces in this stamp set. There's 4 of them and they're pretty. I like them. And so I'm going to bring in this little guy here and my soft succulent. And I'm just going to kind of stamp in the corner just a bit. There we go. And then my sentiment, another sentiment, where is it? It says sending hugs. So we're going to open up the Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to ink that up in Evening Evergreen, and then we're going to stamp that up here, kind of near the top, hopefully in the center, hopefully not crooked. Wow, I think we actually mastered that. Okay. All right, and then the last thing I want to do is I'm going to make a little flower out of these gems for this thing here. And I can't decide, do I want to like stick it on top of that? I don't know, we'll see. And I have found that using tweezers is the best way to do this, to get these off the sheet. Well, not off the sheet, you can use your take your pick tool, but if you're going to make a flower, this is a really nice, easy way to, oh, where do I want my flower? If I stick it right here and it looks terrible, I'm going to be really upset with myself. We're going to go for it. Okay, so there's the center of my flower. And then, whoops, I let go of the tweezers. Bad idea. Okay. Because the tweezers, if you can hold on to them, really, really help you with your placement of these petals, for lack of a better term. Petal gems, I guess. Okay, hold on. I can't talk and concentrate at the same time. All right, so we need, these actually might be too far apart, but I didn't really smash them down yet. Well, we could just make 6 instead of 5. I was going to make 5, but we might have to go 6. Get flipped over, you. Yes, I think we may have to go 6. Okay, so hold on. Hopefully my hair isn't like in the camera, because I'm really like bent over this trying to see what's going on here. Okay, I guess if I was trying to do 6 in the first place, I could have just done them opposite of each other. That would have been a lot easier, but I had planned on doing 5, but ended up with 6. Well, that doesn't actually look that bad right there, so we're going to go with it. So I'm going to add some adhesive to this layer, so I don't have to try to put adhesive where my little pretty flower is. Okay, and then this is wide open, and we're going to layer this inside here, inside this section, so that it's equal distance on all sides. Okay, what do you guys think of that flower? Is that cute or what? Okay. There we go. So here's the front. So if a person was going to stick it on their desk or their table, they have this beautiful, beautiful card to look at. And we'll put some gems on the front too. And then on the back, you can write a little note, you know, thinking of you, so sorry for your loss, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so that was fun. Okay, so now I can use my take your pick tool. And we can just kind of randomly throw, ooh, maybe we'll just sort of put the gems right in the centers of these little berry pieces here. That's handy. Oh, I forgot there's 2 sizes. Oops. We want to use some small ones too, I think. Ugh. There. Okay, a small and a small. There. Now we have some bling on the front and some bling on the back. Ooh, that is really pretty. Yay. Okay, I'm super excited about that. So let me go ahead and leave that out here for you guys while I put everything away for our last card. I'm going to need that. Those can stay over there. Oh, the die cut things. Where's my dies? Here's my dies. Sorry, I don't mean to be completely cleaning while you guys are sitting here waiting for something else to happen, but I just feel like I have to. Oh, here's a sample of a 5-petal flower. This is what I was planning on making. But I didn't get my spacing right, so we made it a 6-petal flower. So you can do 5, 6, whatever works for you. Whatever floats your boat, as they say. Okay. So we can just push that up there. This can go here. The ruler can go back. We've got some trash bits we need to get rid of. Okay. So for my final project of the night, I actually had a suggestion this afternoon. Somebody asked me if I had any Thanksgiving cards. Not necessarily Thanksgiving, but I have cards I'll show you some samples of what I think could be a Thanksgiving card if you had a Thanksgiving sentiment, which if you happen to have the Banner Year stamp set, there is a little Happy Thanksgiving there. Or A Wish for Everything has, where is it? Happy Thanksgiving in the stamp set. Plus, we have this Word Wishes die set that coordinates with this that also has Happy Thanksgiving dies. Okay. So I kind of think any card could be a Thanksgiving card. I don't know. Oh, Violet says clean away, doing crafts makes it easier. It kind of does. If you start with a clean space, I find that if I'm struggling, like say I'm trying to make a card and I've got some things put together and I'm just not really feeling it, I find that if I clean everything up and I just have what I've been working on and not all this other junk, not junk, fantastic supplies around me, that I can focus a lot better if my area is somewhat clean. Now, my friend Dina, she cannot work in a clean space. She cannot work in a clean space. And if you guys have ever watched her live, you will agree with me. She thrives in a I want to say mess, because I don't think it's a mess to her. It's a mess to me when I look at it, but I don't think it's a mess to her. So anyway, so these are some cards that I just randomly pulled out of my stack of cards that I think could be a Thanksgiving card. This one I think could absolutely be a Thanksgiving card. If you just took a little tiny strip of paper and put that little tiny Thanksgiving, Happy Thanksgiving on a little skinny strip and just laid it across there, boom, Thanksgiving card. This one here, instead of saying thank you, the exact same thing. It could say Happy Thanksgiving. Any of these cards, you could take off the sentiment that's on here and they could say Happy Thanksgiving. Okay. This is one that I did on a Facebook Live here a month and a half ago or so. If you could get the Happy Thanksgiving to fit over here, I think it'd be perfect. Instead of Happy Birthday, why not Happy Thanksgiving? It's perfect colors for fall. This cute little squirrel, be perfect. This one, take off the With Heartfelt Sympathy, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And now this is a card that I made last year. This actually, along with this card that I made last week, has inspired the card that I'm going to make for you next. Okay. I stole the color combination off of this card, and I kind of stole this stamped pattern stuff off of this card. And now we're going to make what I'm going to show you now. Okay. So here are our pieces. And as I showed you, we have that die set, and I took Happy Thanksgiving out of it and I cropped it from Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Okay. And we're starting with a Blackberry Bliss card base. Actually, we're going to need a white inside layer because it's dark. So hold on really quickly. Oh, well, I'll just cut it over. How is this 5 inches or just 5 1/4? 5 1/4. Okay, so I need 4. So here's our inside layer. It's going to be 5 1/4 by 4, the old standard inside layer. So that would be on the inside. So for the outside, I have a piece of vellum. I can't remember what it measures. 2 3/4 by 4, I think. Yes, 2 3/4 by 4. I have a layer of white that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. My Coastal Cabana should be 3 3/4 by 5, and then my card base. So we're going to take our white piece and we're going to use, where's that? Here's this. I've got those 3 colors of ink that I stole my color combination from my card last week. So I've got Blackberry Bliss and Coastal Cabana. And, oh, Terry, you are absolutely welcome. Terry was the one who asked me if I had any Thanksgiving cards. And it was really funny because I was struggling for my last card, Terry. And when you said Thanksgiving, that just kind of popped into my mind. And then I went, oh my gosh, I am going to use this color combination from last week. And so then I was kind of looking through cards. I found that other card and boom, this is what we get. Okay, so we have a lot of stamps here. I need another block. Where is another block? Here is a block. Ugh. Hold on, I just stuck my finger on a stamp that has black all over it. So that is not going to be very good for my white card here. Okay, so I've got this stamp set. I should show you what it is. It's Love of Leaves. It is a stamp set that was in our mini catalog last holiday season. A lot of you probably have it. It's amazing. I did a lot of fun stuff with it last year. And then of course, as you get new things in, you kind of put things on the back burner, but we're bringing it back because this stamp set and this coordinating dies are amazing. Okay. So this is what we're going to use. So first of all, we have to stamp on this layer. Oh my gosh, I just got water on that. Yeah. What did this measure again? Does anybody remember? I got a ruler. 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Yeah. All right, hold on. We're going to cut a new layer here. 4 3/4. Oh, that's not even going to be big enough. Hold on. Boy, when it rains, it pours, right? Whoops, 3 1/2. 3 1/2. And 4 3/4. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have this in the frame, but I'm just cutting. You guys can probably imagine what's going on with me cutting. Okay. Now we can start stamping. Okay. I need the big leaf. This is, we're going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana. Kind of like in the center-ish. Whenever I'm doing like a collage of stamped images, I like to start in the middle and then I work my way out. If you start from the outside and work your way in, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up with a space in the middle that is either way too big, and you're not going to have something to take up all the space because your stamp is going to be a smaller stamp and the bigger stamp is going to be too big. So always stamp in the middle and work your way out. Okay. All right. So now this is coastal. No, that's not even what that is. That is Calypso Coral. And so I'm going to kind of stick this. How do I want it? Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to do another one somewhat like that. I need this little guy here in some blackberry. So we'll just do that. That's fine. And then I have this long skinny leaf that I'm going to stamp right there. Okay. And then up here, I'm going to bring in this Calypso Coral again. And do that. And some Blackberry Bliss right there. This tiny little guy we're going to do over here in some Coastal Cabana. And now you can see I need a little bit of Coastal Cabana over here somewhere. So I'm just going to bring the tip of this leaf in there, and that should be good. Okay, so I want to close up these inks, but I got to think, what am I doing on the inside? Let me quickly decide what I'm going to do on the inside first. So it's going to be a this way card. Let's just do some, let's do this first. Oh, we got to flip that over because I got ink on it. I must have it on my finger. Imagine that. So we're going to pretend this is a smaller leaf than it really is. And then we're going to have this little guy and maybe some of this. Maybe like that. Okay, now I feel comfortable putting these away. I don't want to put them away and then have to reopen them all again and then get, potentially get ink over myself. Do I have, look at that. I don't even know if that's, is that like live ink or is that like, ink that's been on there all day long? It's hard to say. Okay, I'm going to push these out of the way. Move that. So then what I would do with this layer here, just to add some more detail, you don't have to, like if you're making a whole bunch, you might want to just stop with this and just make a whole bunch. But there are some dies in here that have these nice little stitching lines. And so what I like to do is I have my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over here. Let's see if I can make some room for it. It's mini, so I should be able to. Okay. Let me back this out of here. And I'm going to move my papers so I can push this up a little bit. Okay, so mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Here's a tip for you. Do not ever try to run things through this mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with all your plates flush. It will probably not work and it'll be frustrating for you and you'll want to throw it out the window. So what I do is when I actually run it through, I stagger everything so that it comes in and it hits this one and then it hits this one, it hits this one, and it just kind of grabs it a little bit better. So what we're going to do with this is this piece of paper is like barely big enough. So I'm going to add that die right there. And then this little guy, are you guys able to see this still? Yeah, I think so. Right here at the bottom. Okay, and now if I had my bigger machine, which I did earlier, and I already have this done, so I'll show you the finished product. But for the video purposes, we're going to do this. And actually, maybe I'll stagger them. Which way do we want to do it? We're going to try it like this. We're going to try kind of backwards. Okay, so we're going to put that into the machine, and it grabs them really nicely. And when it comes to the dies, it gets a little harder to turn, not too bad. And there we go. Okay, so then what you get is this really cool stitched thing. So I've already got one done that I already did earlier today, where all of the leaves have the stitching in them. And when I did this over and over, I kept this die in place each time to kind of add as a buffer, so that when this was going through, I wasn't getting flat spots. Okay, so this one I ran through like 3 times and then just moved the other dies around on it. Okay, all right, let me get this out of the way here. All right, so we don't need that. We can push that over. Okay, so now we can just do some assembly. So I kind of feel like this is Flirty Flamingo gold ribbon, but I kind of feel like it works with the coral. So we're going to go with it. So I'm going to thread it through the inside of the card and have it come out to the front. And I'm going to tape it to the front here. And I don't need it to meet necessarily, because I'm going to have these layers over the top. So I'm just going to use some Scotch tape. But first I got to figure out exactly where I want it. So I guess I'm going to add, it's going to be about 3/4 of an inch from the fold line. Okay. And then we're going to, make sure it's not twisted. And it was, oh my gosh, I have done a card where I had it twisted, and then I had to like take the whole thing apart, and it was live. Of course I was live. Because if there's anything you guys will learn from me, it's how to fix mistakes, because I make a lot of mistakes. And so I've learned how to fix lots of mistakes. Okay, so we have that. So these 2 layers are going to go together, and I'm just going to use, I think I'm going to go liquid glue, just because I have some of these little stitching lines here, and I just kind of feel like I need liquid glue. Okay. There we go. So I'm casing myself with these cards. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Elaine says, your cards are so beautiful and unique. That is like the nicest thing anybody said to me in a long time, Elaine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, now dimensionals. We always need 5. You got to have one in the middle. Nobody likes a saggy card. Sagging is bad. Okay, get all those dimensionals off. I know this color combo is really amazing. I was pretty excited about it last week when I did that kind of striped card. And then, yeah, when I pulled out these leaves, I thought, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. Okay, so now I wanted to put my Happy Thanksgiving on the front, but I kind of feel like it's just not exactly what I want. So then I thought, well, what if I bring in a piece of vellum? Vellum is a really great way to make things pop. And so that just, I feel like that helps it pop quite a bit. Again, I should have used adhesive sheets. I didn't. So you're going to have to watch me add glue. And actually, this might be a trick for you guys. I'm pretty good at liquid gluing stuff. So what I do is I'm barely squeezing this, and you can see a little bit is starting to come out. So I am just kind of scribbling it all over the back of this little die cut here. And even where you can't see white, I mean, I've gotten a tiny bit of glue on that spot. Okay. All right, moment of truth. We want it in the middle. So I think that's in the middle. And that's the trick to the liquid glue on the skinny die cuts, is just barely put any on there. You don't want any big blobs of glue, because invariably, if you have big blobs, they are going to squish out and make a mess. So try not to go for any blobs. All right, and we have our T. This one's going to be a little trickier, I think. Okay, so if I can get this K sort of inside there. And then see, it wants to stick to my finger. Oops. There. Okay, that's not terrible. All right, so then, because I can now add this glue to the back side of my vellum, just kind of following these lines. Because you know how you can always see vellum through or glue through everything on vellum. They even used to make something called like vellum tape, but it didn't really work either. So the only alternative is to just hide your adhesive. So there we have hidden our adhesive, and we're going to add that to the front. There we go. And then the last thing we need to do is I need a rhinestone. Well, here's a rhinestone. I pulled these out because I thought they might go with the Calypso coral. Who knows? But I need some tittles. We talked about this last week or the week before, that when you dot, the dot of an I, a lowercase I or a lowercase j is called a tittle. I did not know that. I was making a card once a while back, and I said I need to dot my I, and some gal said, those are tittles. Oh, it's just such a silly word. Anyway, there is our tittles. Maybe we'll throw another one right there just to kind of even it all out. But so there is our Happy Thanksgiving. Now we can add this to the inside, and then it'll be done. This is where we can write our message to whoever we're sending it to. I could probably send this to my dad. He would not appreciate it as much as the rest of us, but it would be a nice thought. He lives alone, and he doesn't, we don't get to see him nearly as much as we would like to. He's older. I mean, let's see, I'm 55. He's 88. So yeah, he might appreciate that. And who knows, maybe he'll keep it. You never can tell. So there it is. There's our Happy Thanksgiving card based on a suggestion from Terry, based on some cards that I have made in the past. So I cased myself, and then I'll bring in those other cards that we did today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's little presentation. I always enjoy stamping with you guys. It's so much fun for me. And thank you for all your comments and your thumbs up and your sharing of the video. That helps me out more than you guys can even imagine. YouTube loves that. And the more you share and the more you comment and the more you thumbs up the video, the more they like it. And the more they'll share my videos with other people. So be sure to subscribe down here. Just below the video should be a red subscribe button. And then there's a little notification bell. I believe, like, I set this up to go, I think I set this up on Tuesday or Wednesday, and YouTube did send out a notification because Terry got a notification that I was going to be live today yesterday. So if you guys want to be notified that I'm going to be live on Thursdays, in case you might forget, because I know how it is, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay. As always, if you want to order any Stampin' Up! Supplies, I would be more than happy to take your orders. That always helps me buy more things so I can create more free stuff and continue to do this amazing free stamp class for you guys. So, all right, until next Thursday, I will see you guys later. Thank you again.